Hi YouTube, it's Jaedia the Geeky Witch. I am in a bit of a flux with the whole channel name thing. It started off as the Geek Witch, which you might still see in the channel art and stuff, but I recently changed the name to Jaedia the Geeky Witch because Jaedia is like my online gamer persona sort of name. Which I go by on the internet generally, but I am Hannah. That is my name. I don't have a magical name, and calling myself Jaedia the Geeky Witch doesn't really resonate with me when it comes to like spiritual path and stuff. So I'm currently considering changing it. I very often I use a lot of like dragons and whimsy sort of language when I'm like my main blog is just called Dragons and Whimsy. Excuse me. So that's one kind of direction, but I could also have a look at sort of ethereal, fluxy, creative. I don't know. I'm not really sure where to take it. So for now, I will just keep it as it is, and I will let you know if and when I do eventually change it. But for now, I am Hannah, and that's all you need to know. I just don't fancy using my last name because I have a pretty long last name. Not that my channel name's that short anymore. But yeah, also it's just, you know, I'm not too secretive, honestly, but if I join any groups, which I have joined a couple of groups, you see my full name, and it's nothing I'm, you know, trying to hide or anything. So I'm trying not to ramble too much. I've already recorded this video once and I went on for about 50 minutes. My hair was everywhere, like everywhere. So I have to try and do the whole not talking so much thing. Which is weird when you're doing a video about talking. Anyway, I might do long videos at one point, but this is not one of them. So, what is the point of this video? Because so far all I've done is ramble about my name. Well, I started this channel, I think I released my first video introducing myself in January last year. June, wow. Do you ever do that where you just completely mix up months and there's no reason to? Like, what? Usually I mix up March and May. I've never done that one before. Anyway, this is what I mean by tangents. So, yeah, I think it was June last year I introduced myself, and then I went back to lurking. I did do a little bit of gaming streaming on Twitch as Jaedia, but that, I lasted about 6 months doing that, and then I fell off. So I also actually picked up this webcam while I was doing that, so I've got another option for camera, though I won't always use this. I might still use my phone sometimes, but the laptop webcam still, nah. So what? I've got a few notes here that I just want to stick to. Right, yeah. The other reason that I've been MIA for a while is actually my mental health. I struggle a hell of a lot with depression and anxiety, and coming to terms with the fact that I'm dealing with a lot of agoraphobia. Like, I don't have too much in the way of panic attacks. I can do sometimes, but mostly it's hard to explain. It's like an inability to do it, like a massive mental block. It's very hard and it's very tough to deal with, and the depression has been kicking my ass. I've actually changed my medication because it was getting really bad. So that's something that I'm sort of working through at the moment, and it's very difficult. So sometimes I've been very bad at sort of responding to friends' messages and putting myself out there and leaving the house, and you know, it's particularly hard as a witch. If you struggle to leave your house, how do you connect with nature? You know, it's very hard. So I mean, that's something I might talk about in the future, maybe. I don't know. It's very hard to work out what to say about it because I'm still struggling. And I don't have anything to add to the conversation apart from what I'm dealing with right now, and I'm not really in the place to put myself out there quite like that yet. I'm perfectly open about the fact that I am struggling, but it's also a very vulnerable thing to talk specifically about what you're struggling with to people that you don't know, you know? So that's something that I might do, I might not, I don't know, but mental health in witchcraft and spirituality, it's a subject I don't see broached very often, and when it is, it's important. I would say fascinating, but I think important is the right word, because mental illness is something that affects a lot of us, and it can strike at any time, can strike anyone. It's a bitch, and it's interesting to know how to deal with spirituality when you are dealing with depression and other things as well. I mean, it's not just depression. For me, it's depression, like clinical depression, which is something else I've had to deal with. But there's all sorts of things. There's so much stigma, especially in the spiritual community, and it's something I'd like to talk about one day, just not yet. But if you wondered where I was, that's mostly it. I didn't want to put my face on a camera. I didn't really feel comfortable putting my thoughts out there without rambling, which is something I'm currently doing, and we're looking at 7 minutes into the video, so I will try and wrap this up. But I also wanted to talk about yeah, so I actually went back through my first video and made a few notes on what I wanted to say, just sort of more like an update, not a rebuke or anything like that. That is still where I was at that point, and right now I'm just at a different point, you know. I'm like, it's nearly October 2018, so June 2017, October 2018, it's a different time. I've been doing a lot of researching, a lot of studies, which I might go into another time. I did start going into that in this video the last time I recorded it, and that took a lot of time, so we won't go into that right now, but maybe sometime. I've got 3 different studies that I'm going very deep into, and it's interesting. But regardless, it did mention that I was... what did I say? I mentioned that I wasn't focusing on Wicca, that's what I said. But I have actually been reading a lot of Wiccan stuff because, well, I still don't think of myself as Wiccan, and there's a lot that doesn't resonate with me, right? So I'm not big on the whole male-female binary thing. Like, that's a big part of Wicca, the polarity between male, female, but it's, to me, it's a lot more, okay. It's a complex thing anyway, we'll just say that. There's grey areas and spectrums and things like that, and there's a lot in Wicca like that that doesn't vibe with me, as well as some of the structure. Some of the structure just doesn't click, which is fine, it's just me. But there is a lot in Wicca that is very resonant as well. I think I vibe more with like traditional witchcraft and reconstructionist sorts of faiths. Even druidry it's not quite there for me, but again, it's interesting, and I like to learn. That's a big thing. I like to learn about different things and different people, different ways of practicing and different spiritualities, why people believe what they believe, why they practice what they practice, and how it all correlates and fits together, and that's where my interest is, right? So I'm mostly interested right now in traditional witchcraft, and I'm interested a lot in sort of still Celtic mythology, and a little bit in sort of Roman Greek, which wasn't anything I really clicked with before, but a few things have come up in the past year or so that have made me rethink, and I'm going to be looking more into that at some point. I've got Bullfinch's, oh god, what's it called? You know what it is, anyway, Bullfinch. I've got his book somewhere, which is all Roman and Greek myths, I think. I just gotta find it. It's in a box somewhere with one of my other books that I was reading, and now is in a box. What else did I want to say? Yeah, so I'm still practicing, I'm still studying, I'm still doing things. I've been doing lots of research on different things and taking notes. This thing's almost full. Yep, we're right at the back here. What's that? Oh, some notes on tarot that I've been doing. I've been starting to study the tarot. But mostly, I take notes on books I'm reading, on videos, book recommendations people have had, whatever is interesting at the time or whatever I'm doing. I've also buggered up the spine so it doesn't close properly. So that's fun. I love filling up notebooks, especially when it's full of juicy information. So that's something I've been doing. Yes, when I first introduced myself, I did not have an altar. I still don't. Trying to get my life in order is very difficult when I'm still trying to get my brain in order and it's refusing to cooperate with me. Right now, I'm in a sort of okay state, but I'm very vulnerable and fragile, so tiny little things can knock me right down, and it's very weird. Notably, lying on the floor and talking to your deity of choice, your guides, whatever, very therapeutic. Who knew? Journaling as well, of course. Journaling, everybody loves journaling. So yeah, I want to get myself a small little altar. There's just a pile of books where I want to put it, because story of my life. I'm a book hoarder. No, I shouldn't use that. I hate people who I don't like using words in a stigmatizing way. I'm not a hoarder of books, but I have a lot of books and they're everywhere, and oh god dear, help me, help me, help me. Or don't, because books are great. Anyway, yeah, so I am planning on sorting out an altar. This will not necessarily be a Wiccan altar. Obviously, a lot of it will be inspired by Wicca, because that's where I'm sort of researching. There's a lot of information about Wicca, so and Wiccan-inspired practices. So a lot of things that I will be incorporating will probably be Wiccan in feel, but not directly Wiccan. So it'll be more of an intuitive, personal altar sort of thing, which I think a lot of us do these days. And that'll just be a place for me to sort of meditate and do workings and just talk to my people. I've finally settled on my Book of Shadows, and I really need to start wrapping this up. I've started working on my book of shadows. I finally settled on, I've got a sketchbook actually right here. This is my book of shadows. It's a nice big square sketchbook, just simple, cheap. It's great because I like to create and I want to make it completely my own, and that was a big like thing for me, finding the right book, which is really weird, really. I don't know. It's not something that I feel like I should care about, but I did, and I finally found this square sketchbook, which I can, inside I've been doing like scrapbook stuff and watercolours, and I'm incorporating some like bullet journals sort of techniques and just getting creative with it. And I'm like, there's a little ribbon I'm using as a bookmark which I glued in, and I can add more if I want to. I might add charms and things for it, decorate the outside with fabric, and I'm really excited to be working on that. I finally started that this summer, so that's something cool. Because for a long time I didn't know what to put in it, considering I felt so lost in my spirituality. I didn't want to write down the Wickham Reed and then look at it and go, well, that's not me, you know? So, and I love the Wickham Reed. I do, but I don't know where I am with that. Anyway, so it's nice to finally be working on that. I may show that, I may not, I'm not sure yet. I'm quite proud of what I have done with it. I'm really happy. I'm really trying to make it my own, and my own little... It's basically me sort of putting my practice and my beliefs into a physical form in a book. That's what it is to me. So by the first pages, I started out with entering a forest, because to me it's trying to find the paths through the trees in the forest, and sometimes you'll have a different path to take, or you know, there's lots of different paths you can take, but the one you take is yours. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I see this sort of spiritual path. So that was very important for me to start the book off with, like, entering a forest. And I'm very glad I managed to get that. What else did I want to say? Yeah. Mostly I've just been researching and learning. I've been continually lurking on many of your channels because I just love seeing what people have to share and what sort of ideas people have, what people believe. Anything at all. It's great. I love it. Thank you for sharing that, because it's been a huge help for me, even though many times I don't comment. I'll take notes and I'll think on things. I do try and leave likes, so you're welcome. And there's a lot of people that I would like to give shout outs to at some point, but again, I'm rambling and I need to get on with this. Yeah, so I've been getting on with things. I've been meditating a lot. I've been journaling and all that kind of thing. So one thing I was worried about was starting this channel and then losing my want to practice. So I'm very glad that that's not been an issue. I've still been doing it. Though sometimes I've just been watching ghost videos on YouTube and cross-stitching. So there's that. What else? Yeah, no, that's actually it. I've got a few different ideas that I want to do. I've got so many notebooks and journals and planners and all those sorts of things that I would like to talk about. I've got tarot decks, because I've been watching a lot of tarot tube recently. I've got 4 tarot decks, one Lenormand and an oracle deck. So I would like to talk a little bit about my decks. There's only 6 decks to show you, which is actually pretty good because I can do that in one video, or I could do separate videos. I'm not sure yet. I don't have many of the books I had as a teen, but I've still got my first tarot deck, so that's cool. But yeah, I like people who talk books about what they're studying, thoughtful topics, grimoires, journals and planners. Love Jessica the Story Witch's bullet journal videos right now. They're amazing, love them. So hauls, VRs, just nature talks, monthly favourites, paranormal sort of things, witchcraft, tarot, tags and challenges, and just sort of unique things and recommendations of things. So those are the sorts of things I might do in future. I'm not sure yet exactly what it will be, but if there's anything you would like to see from me, just let me know in the comments down below, because there's plenty I've said that may spark your interest, or maybe there's something you just like to see from your favourite YouTubers. I don't know. Just let me know. I'll consider it. I'm doing a lot of brainstorming right now and procrastinating. But I'm also doing my personal studies as well, so sometimes there might be big gaps. I'm not planning on having a schedule. I might not even be regular, but I will do my best to put out some content for you, because I do think I have stuff to share. If anything sparks your interest, let me know, and I will see what I can do. What else did I want to say? No, that's it. Also, if you have a channel of your own, let me know, because I am eager to follow many spiritual people, witchy and tarot, divination, all sorts of things. I find it all fascinating. So come say hello in the comments. Be kind to each other. Many blessings. Bye.